What's up, y'all? I'm back out on the range, as you can see, on another bright sunny day. Temperature's supposed to be really nice, right around 80 out here. Got a little bit of a breeze, thankfully, to keep this old baking sun above me to cool down just a little bit. Shouldn't be nothing I can't handle, though, to get some really interesting tests done. And we're gonna start this one out with a little bit of 9mm. So we got the jelly contraption set up, ready to roll with the 2 chronos and 2 fresh blocks of gel. First test of the day in these, so you get a really nice clear picture of what happens. Heavy clothing barrier, of course, with the layer of denim, fleece, and 2 layers of cotton t-shirt. And what we got first is some of that 9mm out of the batch that Alan sent me. So again, big thanks to him for that. We got the HOP Munitions, or House of Payne, 124 grain 9mm. So you can see the projectile there, brass case. Now, what I will say, you can see this projectile here. I'll probably try to get a close-up picture of it. I went to their site to try to get a little ballistic info on it, but I can tell you right now, what they've got as far as a picture for the 124 9mm on their site is definitely not this right here. So this info you getting here may not be applicable today if you're getting some of their 9 stuff, unless you've already got this right here. But as far as the velocity, they're listing the same thing, 1150 feet per second. So hopefully we do see those velocities. I've seen this projectile before. I think it's nothing real fancy, but it looks like it should do a pretty good job. Now, I didn't notice any kind of test barrel length listed, but we got a couple different ones here. A shorty, we got the MC9 with the 3.1 inch barrel, and then we got the good old G17 here with the 4.5 inch barrel. So again, I don't know that this stuff is the same thing you would get right now. It doesn't seem to be by the pictures, but hopefully it'll still give us some good results. Let's get it all set up and see what happens. All right, let's check some numbers on this stuff. I'm gonna do a 5-round average from each barrel length, starting with this shorter MC9 first. Now remember, the box is saying 1150. I don't suppose that's out of this short barrel, so I don't expect to see that. Now, before I do get started here, I wanted to mention right quick, I'm trying out a new set of ear pro today. Y'all know, if you've watched my channel for a while, I've been using the Axle GS Extremes for right at 2.5 years now. I absolutely love those things. So this is actually from Axle, but it's their new X Core. Now, these have been out for probably a year or so, maybe a little more. I just hadn't picked any up because, again, I absolutely love those GS Extremes, but I figured it was time I grabbed a set of them just to test them out to see if they're as good or maybe even better. So far, I'm really liking them, just like the GS Extremes. One thing I am noticing is I'm getting a little bit of wind noise whipping through here, just some breeze going on. They don't have the little sticky foams like the GS Extremes do. I think you can get those separately. I may get some of those and stick on. It's nothing unbearably loud, but it's a light breeze today, so I want to see how they do really in some real strong wind. But again, if y'all watched the channel for any length of time, you know I absolutely love Axle Ear Pro, and I've always got links down in the description if you want to check them out. So back to business. If y'all aren't familiar with this lab radar, you're going to get multiple readings off this thing. Your large numbers at the muzzle, and then you've got some across the bottom. The first one's at 3 yards, which is roughly where the gel is here at 10 feet, and then you've got 10, 15, 25, and 50. So let's try this stuff out. Again, we're looking for 1150. I seriously doubt we're going to see that out of this shorter barrel. 1097, 1109, 1124, 1107, and 1114. So the first one was a little low, but the rest of them wasn't too bad for this shorty barrel. Just to comment on this Ear Pro, it definitely does a good job at stopping the sound, muzzling it down, but it's a real different sound than I'm used to with the GS Extreme. But let's check out the average on this. All right, so our 5-round average through the short barrel was 1110 feet per second. We had an extreme spread of 27 with a standard deviation of 9.9. So nice consistent stuff. And 1110, the box is calling for 1150. I can guarantee you that was not out of this short of a test barrel. So through that little shorty, 1110 to be so close to the box velocity, I ain't too mad about that. Let's get it reset and see what the G17 does. All right, let's see if we can get them up to speed with this G17. Based on what we just saw, I'm feeling pretty confident we probably see that 1150 here. Let's see what happens. 1180. 1173, 1178, 1160, and 1170. So we saw it 1150 and then some, and really consistent stuff again. Let's check that average. All right, this is the way I like to start out the day of testing right here. 5-round average that time was 1174 feet per second, an extreme spread of 12 with a standard deviation of 5.1. So that's some really consistent stuff out of both barrels so far, and the velocity is very, very nice. They say an 1150, we getting 1174 out of a G17, so that's definitely the kind of numbers I like to see. 1174 there, and if you remember out of the MC9, it was 1110, so right about what you would expect to see from that kind of barrel length difference. So again, this stuff is looking really nice so far. I mean, you knocking on the door right there of almost 1200 out of the G17, so you right there at spicy level speeds in my opinion. I think as long as that projectile's decent, this stuff's gonna do a good job. But let me get it all set up, and y'all know what time it is. All right, y'all, it's Payne Train jelly time. We'll put one through each barrel length into the gel, starting with this MC9 first. I got good hope for these right here, just based on that velocity. Let's see what happens. All right, it went right where I wanted, but the thing curved out the top. Let me go check it out. All right, sure enough, that thing went out the top down there, and that's because it went so doggone far. It just couldn't hold a straight line that far. Let's see if I can go a little bit under this one here. I see a big old long line right there too. Let me go see what I got. All right, false alarm that time. It's actually looking really good down there. So I suspect that first one looked nice too. It looked like it was just right at the end of its travel. Whatever kind of turbulence was going on down there just made it exit. So let's see what this G17 does. I think it's gonna do some good stuff. That one went where I wanted, but I think it got into the bottom. Let me go check it out. All right, let's check out what we got down here, y'all. Things got a little bit messy, but I feel pretty confident what we got is valid and gives us a really good picture of what we need to see. Really good performance here from all of these is what I see. The top two, of course, that was out of the MC9. The first one y'all saw, both of these look almost exactly the same though. Really nice disruption coming in here. You can tell it expanded immediately. Carries all the way through this first block into the second block, goes probably about 4 inches into this second block. And looks like you got some nice expansion on that one. The other one again went out basically about the same spot. And then the one down on the bottom, that's the G17, pretty much more of the same. Again, nice disruption, immediate expansion, carries all the way through this first block and into the second block again. Now it does touch the bottom down here, but right at the end of its travel, so I don't think you would have got any more at all. And looks like you got maybe about an inch further than those out of the MC9 and some pretty good expansion again. So let's see how far they actually did go. The one from the MC9 is out here at exactly 19¼ inches. So in my opinion, that's incredibly nice penetration right there. And then the one from the G17 on the bottom is actually at 20½ inches. So again, in my opinion, this is exactly the kind of penetration you want to see. Close-up look here. Again, the top two is the MC9, the bottom the G17. Really nice disruption all the way through the track there. This is about the most you see out of most just conventional lead 124-9s. And then there you see the projectile, pretty much the same expansion you usually see on a conventional 124. And again, down there at the bottom from the G17. Looking from the top, more of the same. It's a little bit tricky because one's on top of the other one down there. But as you can see, very nice disruption for what we got here. All the way through that first block into the second block. There's one of them, and then the other one down there on the bottom. All right, let's take a look at these projectiles. They look nearly identical. This one right here is the MC9, this one's the G17. The size looks exactly the same, even as far as how far that peel back down the base here, just depending on what angle you look at it from. They look identical, and both of them look really, really nice. For a standard pressure 124, you can't really ask for a whole lot more than this right here. Looks like they held most of their material too. I see very, very little fragmentation in the gel. Well, let's check them out and see what they did lose. So they started at 124. This one out of the MC9 is at 123.6, so very little loss, if any, from that one there. And then the G17 is 123.2, so maybe a little loss, probably a little loss from both of them, because I think I can see a little bit of fragmentation. And then as far as the sizes, I'm expecting this to be really, really similar. You got 468 and 482, and then this one from the G17, you got 475 and 480, so nearly identical from both of them. And again, I think that's some really nice expansion for a standard pressure 124. So there you go, y'all, the 124 grain 9mm from House of Payne. Good looking stuff right here. Velocity's really, really nice, above what they claim on the box even. Really nice performance in the gel. You got, in my opinion, exactly the kind of penetration you want in ballistic gel. Really nice expansion for what these things are. So again, now what they showing on their site as far as picture is not what these projectiles were. So this probably isn't much help as far as what you're going to get from them nowadays. But if you've got some of these on hand, these, in my opinion, are some winners. All right, y'all, I think I'll end it right there for a nice 9mm test to start the day. This is pretty much what I look for in a 9mm personally. Now, y'all know me, if you watch my channel much, I'll take it spicier than this for sure. But as far as standard pressure, you probably can't get much more spicy and still stay in that standard pressure range. So I think this stuff right here does a perfect job. Nice and consistent performance also as far as velocity and performance in the gel here, which is another thing I really, really like. You don't have to worry about what you're going to get based on the different barrel you might be carrying. But let me know down in the comments what y'all think about it. Any of y'all out there actually carry some of this stuff right here? If you do, is it some older stuff? Does the projectile look like this? Is it newer stuff with a different look to it? Let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are. If you did enjoy the video, take a second to hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and make sure you got those notifications turned on so you get notified when I upload new stuff. Take a minute if you're doing some shopping and check out those affiliate links in the video description. Lots of good stuff down there, including the Axle Ear Pro. So if you're in the market, check that stuff out. Anything you buy after hitting those links up, I get a kickback from them towards the channel. So I really do appreciate that. Again, a big thanks to my Range Gang members and every single one of y'all for supporting the channel. I've got a couple more really interesting tests planned for the day, so stay on the lookout for those. And in the meantime, stay safe, stay prepared, and I'll see you soon.